Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and we are ready for that live stream show. Hopefully you are as well. Welcome to the Sunday night live stream show. Hopefully you're ready for a good time and a great show tonight. We've got a lot lined up for you. We're going to be talking fishing, having a good time, giving away free fishing trips. That's right, during our live stream show, we give away $1,500 in free trips. All you have to do is comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. That enters you for a chance to win, and then you have to watch the show live. Your name will randomly appear throughout the show. We're going to do those giveaways, and we'll pick a random winner. And then you've got 5 minutes to text us your full home address to claim that free trip. We're going to be giving away a 5-hour half day for 2, a 10-hour all day for 2, and a Hubbard's Marina 39-hour deep sea fishing adventure for one lucky winner. So hopefully you guys are going to be watching live and tuned in for a chance to win that free fishing adventure. Plus, on top of that, we're going to be talking about the weather, what's going on now, what we're catching, what's coming up, and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our Hubbard's Marina live stream show. And we do this every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Trovo and Twitch pages as well. So thank you for joining and being a part of the Sunday night live stream show. Don't forget to tell your friends about the show, tag your friends, share it with your favorite fishing group on Facebook, and tell your friends to join us next week as well, because every week we want you to bring a friend to the show. We'd appreciate it. Also want to make sure we give a shout out to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't stopped by to see our friends at Gator Jim's, you are missing out. They are great people. They've got killer deals and a huge selection. It is a good place to stop by and see some awesome fishing tackle at a killer price. And they really do a good job over there. Plus, right now, they've got awesome deals. You don't have to wait for Black Friday to get crazy deals at Gator Jim's Tackle. They've got really special stuff already going on. They've got star rods, 6-foot star rods, 30 to 80 BOGO for less than $80. They've got a Fenor Surge 7-foot rod at Gator Jim's, 20 to 40 BOGO. Buy one, get one at $99. They've got a Fenor Tidal spinning rod 7.6 for buy one, get one for $129. Plus, all live target lures are 50% off right now too. So Gator Jim's Tackle has incredible deals always, but even right now, they've got even more special, incredible deals. So stop by and see our friends at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Petersburg, and tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. We'd appreciate it. Also want to make sure we give a shout out to those sending stars. If you're watching on YouTube, on TikTok, on Trovo, Twitch, on Instagram, stars are a way for those who are watching on Facebook, the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, to show their support. And we've had quite a few star senders to kick us off. We had Angie Darling with the big 500. Michael Perro, Charles Carter with a big 500, Jeff Reedy with a huge 1,200, Keith White, Jasmine Marie, Stephen Batchelor, David Pruitt with a big 1,000, Ryan Welser with 500, Yukimi Barker, Holly Fett, Robert Bush, D. Beers with a huge 1,200. Thank you, D. Philip Batisto, Scott Flynn with a big 500. Brian Eakins and Sam Lang in the front runner position with 1,220. Thank you, Sam. And Adam Franklin with 1,000 as well. Thank you guys for the stars. Also, a big shout out to our supporters in our supporters club. If you haven't thought about joining the Hubbard's Marina supporters group, you're missing out. It is a really cool way to get behind the scenes communication, more one-on-one stuff, plus some advance notice on things. We really share a lot in the supporters group. It's an easy way for me to communicate and just unload information. So check out the supporters group. It's only $4.99 a month. You get behind the scenes access, more communication, plus the access to our private supporters after show. After every week's live stream show, we do a supporters after show where we talk and get a little bit more one-on-one and a little bit more of a tight-knit group. So it's really cool. Check it out. It's worth it. Again, only $4.99 a month. So you can't beat it. Rich and Dana Fletcher, appreciate those 200 stars, my friends. All right, so with that, we talked about stars or supporters, Gator Gyms. We told you how to win the free trips. You got to comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream, then you got to watch live, because if your name is picked as one of the lucky winners, you got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address to claim that free trip. Also, don't forget to comment, like, and share the stream for us. We'd appreciate it. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And then with that, we always like to start the show off by showing you the photos of what we are catching now. Then we get into what's going on weather-wise. Then we get into some announcements. And then finally, your questions. So if you want a question answered live during the show, all you have to do is text us at the phone number on the screen. So text us at the phone number on the screen if you have a question, comment, if you want to say something, if you want to be heard during the show, you got to text us at the phone number on the screen. With that, let's get right into these photos and show you guys what we are catching now. So, first things first, we are seeing some nice action inshore. We always like to start inshore, show you what we're catching inshore, then we'll work our way a little bit further offshore. But inshore right now, a lot of these mullet moving around. It's a good time to get out there and catch some mullet. Good eating and a lot of fun. We're seeing a lot of Jack Crevalle. The Jack Crevalle action has been prolific throughout the area, from the upper bay, back bay area, all the way through till out on the beaches. We're seeing schools of Jack moving around. A lot of redfish action. The redfish have been super, super aggressive. These kind of schoolie size redfish are seemingly everywhere right now. Really doing well on the redfish action, from the flats to the oyster bars to the mangroves, all the way through the passes and on the beaches too. So throughout the whole area, we're seeing those redfish. Definitely a little bit more concentrated in the back bay and upper bay waters as of late. Sheep's head actions heating up. We had quite a few sheep's head being caught off the docks at Hubbard's today. We're seeing a lot of them being caught around bridges, piers, dock pilings. Virtually any hard structure is a good area to find the sheep's head. Snook action is going best early morning hours before sunrise around the Johns Pass jetties, bridge, and dock areas. We're seeing some of these snook out on the beaches. We're seeing a few caught during the daytime as well, but they're definitely a little bit more finicky and difficult during the day. At night and that early morning hour seems to be a good time to go get them. But our buddy Dan the Fishman here on his kayak said that they are just crushing live shrimp. He's seeing a lot of redfish, snook, and trout out there on the flats, and he fishes pretty close to Johns Pass on the flats. He's using a number 2 hook, he said, and 20-pound fluorocarbon, free lining those shrimp out on the flats. That small number 2 hook has been a little bit of a trick to help those snook get a little bit more aggressive and reactive to the shrimp. So pretty good insight from our buddy Dan the Fishman, and doing well out there on the flats. As you can see here, though, a lot of snook being caught throughout the area. It's a good time to find them. Definitely retreating a little bit with the cooler water. We're seeing a lot of the snook move back into the upper bay areas. The pass was a pretty good spot, but they should be thinning out as that water temperature dies down and cools off. A lot of big trout. The trout action generally heats up as water temperatures cool down. Trout, sheep's head, flounder, and pompano are all species that we generally see quite a bit of as water temperatures drop, and the overall trout size gets a little bit bigger too. So good time of year to go target those trout in the back bay water. So that's what's going on inshore. Now we're going to make our way a little deeper and talk about what we're seeing near shore and offshore. A little deeper near shore and offshore, we are seeing quite a few numbers of fish. Definitely have been seeing some nice hogfish. The offshore bite has been super hot, and we're seeing a good nearshore action too. A lot of nearshore mackerel action has been popping off for us. We're seeing mackerel trolling out there on our 5-hour half days. We're seeing mackerel moving around on our 10-hour all days. We're seeing quite a few trolling along the beaches on our private fishing charters. The mackerel have been thick. Occasionally, you might see one of these pork fish. It's just a pretty fish, but we have to catch and release them. They are not one of the fish that we're able to keep. It's considered an aquarium fish, but they are pretty, and we do see them quite a bit. So here's one of those flounder. Flounder season is closed until the end of this month. They're closed for a spawning season protection, but we are seeing quite a few of them this time of year, and that generally carries through until kind of February-ish, December, January, February, all good times to see the flounder too. The hogfish action, though, overall is going pretty good. The hogfish have been a little hit and miss, though. We'll have one trip where we do a lot of hogfish, then we'll have the next trip where we struggle a little bit more. So they are definitely finicky and tricky, and they are a great equalizer. But overall, we're seeing more and more hogfish, and generally the bite is pretty good. We're seeing a couple hogfish on the half day. We're seeing a dozen or two on the 10-hour all days. And like I said, there's some 10 hours that are catching a dozen or two. There's other 10 hours that struggle to just get a handful. So it's kind of hit and miss on these hogfish. It's like day to day. You don't know what's going to happen with them, but they are a lot of fun and very good eating. And when we're not getting the hogfish, we are seeing a lot of lanes and plenty of other heads and tails as well. A couple mangroves. The near shore action overall has been real good as of late, and it's a great time to get out there and enjoy it because there's lighter loads, not a lot of people around, and the fishing has been pretty darn good for us. Now, offshore has been real good, too. Offshore fishing has been stellar. We're catching and releasing some gag grouper. We're seeing a lot of these huge lane snapper. Look at that horse of a lane snapper right there. We're seeing some nice mangroves offshore. The mangrove snapper bite has been incredible. We're seeing some nice triggerfish. We're seeing a lot of yellowtails. The 44-hour trip came in this morning. Just a massive pile of fish. From African pompano to mutton to black grouper to yellowtails, mangroves, and everything in between. It was a stellar 44-hour trip. So if you didn't watch this morning's live video when we came in off that 44-hour, definitely make sure you go over to the Hubbard's Marina Facebook or YouTube and check out this morning's video to see that huge pile of fish, because it was bad to the bone. Good fishing out there and light loads. Not a lot of people around right now. We've got red snapper season opening up November 18th. So next week on Monday, red snapper season kicks off. We're going to see tomorrow. Thank you, Josh. So Monday, as in tomorrow, red snapper season kicks off, and it's open through the end of the year. A lot of people are asking, are they going to close red snapper early? No, there's no way possible. They could even do that if they wanted to, because they work on this 2-month wave on MRIP, so they can't monitor in-season landings as closely as they would like or think they can. So essentially, we know 100% without a doubt, guaranteed, red snapper will open November 18th, tomorrow, and it will stay open for us until the end of the year. So we've added a bunch of 12-hour extreme trips. We've added a bunch of 39-hour trips. A lot of these 39-hour trips have 20, 25, maybe 30 people on them. There's not a 39-hour trip that's sold out. So this is completely different from summertime. In July, it's smoking hot. August, smoking hot. And these trips in summer for red snapper are almost always sold out. This is a last-minute season opener that we've added a ton of trips, so we've really spread out the people. So this is a great opportunity to go get those red snapper and not have a full boat. We're running right now, it looks like most of these trips are 50, 60, maybe 65, 1 or 2 or 70% full, but most of them are 50, 60% full. The newest trip, which is Sunday, I think it's Sunday, November 24th. Yeah, so next week, a week from today, Sunday the 24th, only has 16 people on it. That's a lighter load, one of the lightest loads of this added red snapper season. So some really good opportunities to get out there and crush those red snapper, mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, vermilion snapper, porgies, triggerfish, scamp. We should see plenty more of those muttons mixed in as well. So really, really awesome opportunity with this red snapper last minute addition. Also, don't forget our Friendly Fisherman restaurant is back open, so you can stop on by and have your fish cooked up fresh next door. Really, really good opportunity to enjoy some of that as well. Plus, Fishing for Hope is coming up. Fishing for Hope is coming up. We want you to join us for that. That is going to be November 23rd. That is the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So it's next weekend, Saturday. We hope to see you out there for that. Josh is going to drop the link in the chat on Facebook. It is a Facebook event. You can just simply search Fishing for Hope Food Drive on Facebook, and that'll find it for you, or you can hit that link that Josh shared in the chat. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. over in Tampa, 2609 North Rome Avenue. So we'd love to see you out for that. It is a food drive, but it's also an unwrapped toy drive as well. And there will be a way, so stay tuned, there will be a way to donate from afar as well. So if you actually can't make it to bring food or bring a toy, you'll be able to monetarily donate to the Fishing for Hope event as well. So we'll have that link for you next weekend as we approach that event Saturday morning, the 23rd. So a week from yesterday, this upcoming Saturday, we'll be doing the radio show Saturday morning as normal with Captain Mike Anderson, and Captain Bill Miller will be joining us, and we'll be talking all about that food drive, and we'll have the link for that as well. So you'll be able to come in person and donate food or donate toys, or if you can't make it in person, you can donate via the website monetarily. We will not be able, unfortunately, take donations via mail, but you can always drop a donation online if you would like monetarily. With that, we want to make sure we also mention November 24th, so next week Sunday. If you don't want to do that 39-hour trip with us, there is a Lady Anglers trip going out. If you are a lady angler, we have the Lady Anglers of Hubbard's Marina Facebook group. It's right on our website. If you go to the info here, I will show you on the website. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com and you hit info and you scroll down to Marina info and scroll up to Marina info, and then at the bottom of Marina info you can find Lady Anglers of Hubbard's Marina, and there's actually a Facebook group dedicated to our Lady Anglers of Hubbard's Marina. You can find it hyperlinked on that page if you click the Lady Anglers of Hubbard's Marina, and you can get on to Facebook and follow the group if you want. But again, November 24th, the 10-hour all-day, the Lady Anglers will be coming out and joining us. So if you want to go out with a group of ladies and meet some new lady angler fishing friends as a fellow lady angler, definitely check out that Facebook group or check out the 10-hour all-day, November 24th, to join them. All right, so with that seasons reminder, we want to make sure we remind you guys of seasons, but we're going to have to hold the seasons reminder and seasons discussion because Captain Mike Anderson is calling. We got to get our Inshore update from our Inshore guru, Captain Mike Anderson. What's going on, buddy?
How are you, my friend?
Doing good, man. Just another day in paradise. Just got talking about Fishing for Hope, and that's next weekend, bud. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's really cool. It's definitely a feel-good Saturday every year when we get, blessed enough to do this, give a little back to the community and, show how many great fishermen we have in the Tampa Bay area. Just an opportunity for everybody to come together and help out. Super cool event. Super cool.
Yeah, I'm excited
Always look forward to it. Yeah, I always look forward to it. Yeah, it's good stuff. Sure.
So how's inshore fishing going, brother?
You know what? A little testy. This big moon here kind of stepped us into those, big negative wintertime tides. And that made it a little frustrating, especially leading up to the moon. If you get a big negative at night, all the fish you found the day before up on the flat, they can't stay there.
They move.
They leave. Yeah, they move. But if you pay attention to those tides in the middle of the night, you can kind of get a read on that stuff and know that a lot of those fish will drop off the flats. They will go to the passes. They'll go to the bridges, things like that to stage up and get through those tides before we get back on a little calmer tides, and they can get back up there and root around for those crustaceans and pinfish and all that stuff they're chasing. So, not my favorite time of the month. We've talked about this, a lot. I'm not a big fan of the full moon, but a couple days from now we'll be past it and things will pick up.
Yeah,
although we do have weather coming.
Yeah, normally offshore on the full moon we deal with more tides, more currents, and we also can sometimes see a little bit of a softer day bite, especially around peak midday time period. But the 44-hour trip came in this morning, man, and there was no current issues, and the daytime bite was actually better than the nighttime bite. Super odd for us. Yeah, odd change of pace for us offshore. Kind of interesting. So inshore, you saw the typical full moon pattern. Offshore, we didn't. It was like the opposite. Super strange.
Yeah.
That's why I
call it fishing. Time. Yeah, I was going to say, just about the time you think that you got them figured out, they throw you a curveball.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Hey,
so many days.
Also, you really can't skip Sunday radio shows, by the way. Mike Mahoney told for like the 17th time the story of him and his buddies showering on the boat together. He
likes that story. I don't know why it pops into his head so often. I'm curious.
It's really unsettling how many times I've heard him tell that story on the radio.
Yeah, and I was talking to Ben Marshall today after I was on my way home from my tournament, and he was telling me that came up again, and I went, oh boy, I'll bet Dylan loved that. He said, man, Dylan was all over it. He always is.
Oh yeah. It seems like almost every other Sunday that you're not there, he brings it up again. And for those watching who maybe didn't miss that or didn't catch that awesome radio show, we were talking about being safe on the water and being prepared for the weather. And we're getting into cold weather season, so you want to wear layers. Yeah, you want to wear layers. You want to be prepared to get cold, and you want to dress for the water temperature, not the air temperature. Right now, the water's warmer than the air, so that's been helpful to us. But essentially, Mahoney's story was he was up in Louisiana. It was cold, water temperatures, warm air temperatures. They were all out there in T-shirt and shorts. And a rainstorm came early in the morning, and they were well offshore. And this rain was a cold, cold rain. So him and his buddies huddled together and showered in the washdown pump. And that was able to keep them warm enough to where they survived. So that's the way he pitches it, is it was a survival story. But I don't know. It's weird. He keeps bringing it up.
Well, I think it's extremely funny that you constantly give him a hard time.
Oh, I have to.
About telling the story about him showering with his buddies.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah. Someone has to give him a hard time because he gives everybody else a hard time. So I feel like it's my life's mission to help balance that out.
I couldn't agree more, my friend. Beautiful.
Yes.
Good stuff.
So
for sure,
the moon messed you up a little bit, but overall, the redfish bite has been pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's really the key is just you just pay attention to those tides and kind of concentrate. Like I said, if you've got big negative lows at night or early in the morning, those fish have to drop off. Usually when they drop off, they're going to go to the passes, they're going to go to the bridges, they're going to go somewhere where that negative low tide doesn't affect them. A lot of those areas, especially on these big moons, big tides, lots of bait flushing through there. So they know they pick up a lot of easy meals there. Again, safety, water's, plenty deep. So, just something to pay attention to. It's one of those little tricks that I learned from a great charter captain here locally. When I had a really great trip one day, got all excited, told my customers, hey, I'm on them. We caught 40 redfish today. Tomorrow's going to be amazing. Just, be on time, be ready to go. And we went out there, went to the same place, and there was no fish there. And you're scratching your head, and finally I called this guy. I'm like, dude, what the heck happened to my fish? And he's like, God, you're on a pile of them, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, did you look at the tides last night? At midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, no. He goes, well, I just pulled it up. You had a big negative low, 3:30 in the morning. Those fish couldn't stay on that flat. They had to drop off. And it's an interesting thing. We always look at the tides, to when we're going fishing. What's the tide doing? What's the tide doing? What's the tide doing? Well, what has the tide done for the last 24 hours? And it's a great indicator to where those fish, whether or not those fish were, well, and sometimes it doesn't matter that, you can be on a good school for 3, 4, 5 days, especially, in the spring, once those tides level off a little bit. You don't have those big crazy negatives. You may have big flood tides, so those fish may move up in the trees and then they pull out a little bit, but because you don't have a big negative, they don't have to, they don't have to leave the flat. They can still stay there. So just a little gem to chew on there from the week. So something I got, and I've known that. And then this week it was kind of a head scratcher to me initially, and then as soon as I'm like, where did these fish go?
Then it
I'm like, then it occurred to me. I'm like, there it is, negative low in the middle of the night.
Got me.
They scrambled. Yeah, and we still scratched out some fish. I bobbed and weaved and hit some other islands and some other places, and we ended up scratching out a morning, but not like we had the days leading up to that. So just something to pay attention to. The bite's really good. Again, we're still kind of in transition. That water temp's still been good. We haven't had a ton of really cold weather.
Not yet.
Water temp's good. No, yeah, right. It's supposed to be coming. But again, if it isn't cold for an extended period of time, I mean, I had 80-degree water temps this week. So, if the water temp's 80, it's still
crazy.
pretty high. Yeah, that's pretty high. So, I mean, if you're, until that water temp gets down below 70 degrees, it's really not an issue. You're still in pretty prime feeding stuff, and you're still going to have plenty of bait around. So, what happened to the King of the Beach? What happened at the King of the Beach? I didn't get the report.
43.6 pounds was the winner.
And it wasn't somebody that's won it before?
Brian Hassan, yes, sir. Yeah, he's won it 3 times in 4 years.
Yeah, that guy just needs to retire, man. Let somebody else win it, dude.
Yeah, right.
He's killing it. Yeah, that dude's killing it.
Yeah, he did really well. It was interesting. He was not a fan of having the tournament. Really, the first announcement about having the tournament at Bay Pines at Pro Marine there, he was not enthused and was very loud about not being enthused. And they moved the tournament, and he was able to fish it and went out there and won it. So pretty interesting. Crazy.
Yeah, but his bank account's happy that he fished it.
I guess so. He made it happen. So
yeah,
give him a third win in 4 years is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is impressive. That's Pro Marine type stuff right there. Wow.
Yeah, and it was Jim's birthday yesterday, I heard as well. So big shout out to Jim.
I think
Nassen.
Where did they finish? I thought I saw him up on the leaderboard somewhere.
I believe he was third, I heard.
I thought so too. I thought I saw third place too. Yeah. When I talked to him, I dropped my boat off to get a 100-hour done, and when I was on the phone, or when I was at the parking lot there, I saw him and talked to him, and he said he felt pretty good about it. Normally, if he feels pretty good about it, or he's got a good feeling about it, then they're on some pretty good fish, which they must have been, because a third place finish in a tournament with that many boats is
pretty darn good.
Pretty impressive. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. So.
Yeah, there was a 43-pounder was the winner, and then the next biggest one was in the 30s, but there was quite a few, probably 10 or so that were in the 30s. So I was impressed inside of 30 miles, the boundaries at 30 miles for King of the Beach. Inside of 30 miles, there wasn't that many kingfish around, and those guys, like I said, if anybody could find a kingfish, it's those King of the Beach anglers, and they really did. So it was cool to see so many big kingfish come in when not really many have been caught. So they made it happen.
Yeah, no doubt. How many boats were in it, do you know?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but it definitely wasn't a typical King of the Beach turnout because of the storms and such.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Crazy.
Interesting.
Well, we appreciate you calling, and look forward to Saturday, Fishing for Hope, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and you and I will be doing the show with Bill Miller beforehand. It's going to be a good weekend.
Always exciting, brother. I look forward to seeing you, and hope everybody has a great week. Catch them up.
All right, man. And Josh and I were talking about the Real Animals podcast reboot, so we're excited about that.
Good. Yeah, we'll talk more about it this week, and we're going to launch that thing probably mid-January, and get this thing rocking and rolling. I'm going to bring you in to make it even bigger and better than it was before, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it as well. So we'll chat more, and I'll see you Saturday, brother.
All right, partner. You guys be good.
See you, man.
See you.
That's right. Little sneak preview. Mike probably wasn't ready for that. But we are talking early talks about rebooting the Real Animals podcast. And it'll be a weekly podcast video. And we'll be going deep inshore, nearshore, offshore. So it'll be pretty interesting. We got some things in the works potentially. So stay tuned. Now, Josh brought up while we were chatting there that I forgot to talk about the weather. So good reminder, Josh. Let's go to hubbardsmarina.com. Hubbardsmarina.com. Click fishing trips. Scroll down to the weather links. And we'll start in the 5 and 10 hour forecast area. And we can quickly see from the graph. Today was pretty good. Tomorrow looks great. Monday it picks up a little bit. Wednesday going to be a little nautical. Thursday and Friday for sure. But calms down really nice Friday afternoon. And it looks gorgeous this upcoming weekend. That Sunday, November 24th, 39-hour trip we added has perfect weather conditions. And only 16 people on it. So that is the way to go, Sunday, November 24th. So beautiful weekend. Best weather day in the next couple days is going to be tomorrow, Monday. Tuesday looks pretty good as well. It starts to pick up a little bit, but not terrible. Then Wednesday gets pretty terrible. And Thursday and Friday, it is going to be blowing out of the north and getting cold. Look at that. The temperatures on Friday getting to the low 60s. It is going to be frigid. So a little bit of a cold weekend, but it is going to be gorgeous. So best weather day is Monday. Second best Tuesday. Tuesday's fishing. Monday, Tuesday's fishing should be pretty good ahead of that weather. Then on the back side of the weather, Saturday might be gorgeous weather, but fishing might be a little bit slow. Sunday, fishing should be better. Backside of the front, weather or wind has calmed down. Waves have calmed down. The water has had a little time to clear up. And then Monday, Tuesday next week look really good as well. And the water will have definitely had time to clear up. So that bite should be hot again behind that front. So definitely cold front season is here. I'm kind of interested now. Let's see. I think we have it on here. 7-day forecast. We do. I wonder what the high temperature is for Friday. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Friday is a low of 52 with a high of 68. That's Florida winter. That is winter in Florida. 52 in the morning. That's a almost have to plug the diesel truck in temperature. Oh, she's not going to be happy Friday morning. Woo, that's chilly. So, something to look forward to for us Floridians. It is time to break out the jeans and the winter coats because cold front winter is coming, as they say. So, we talked about our announcements. We talked about the seasons reminders where we left off. Then we're going to get into your questions. But before we get into the seasons reminders, we want to make sure we do our first giveaway of the night. Remember, we got a 5-hour half day for 2, a 10-hour all day for 2, and the Hubbard's Marina 39-hour trip for 1. Let's do the 5-hour half day first. 5-hour half day for 1 lucky winner. 2 guests. Lucky winner is Sean Hart. Sean from Bradenton here listens to the Saturday and Sunday radio shows, and now you've got a free 5-hour trip for 2 guests, Sean. You got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address to the phone number on the screen to prove you're watching live, and we'll get you out that certificate very shortly. And looking forward to seeing you out fishing. So, seasons reminders, 2025. A lot of people asking, what's the regulations for 2025? And we don't know. But I have a very educated guess. So 2025, if you want to book a 39-hour trip, a 44-hour trip, a 12-hour extreme trip, the schedule will open December 1st at 11 a.m. So if you want to book a 39-hour, 44-hour, 12-hour extreme, December 1st at 11 a.m., that schedule opens up. Keep in mind, though, it's going to be super busy. So the best idea is to book online and book quickly because those spots fill up incredibly fast. Especially people think the back of the boat is the best spot to fish. I don't get it. Never will, but those spots definitely fill quickly. So if you want to book super fast, book online, or you can always call us, but just keep in mind the call volume gets a little heinous, a little out of control. So we'll do the best we can to keep up with it. But December 1st, 11 a.m. So if you want to book quickly, book online, or you can call us December 1st at 11 a.m. to book a 39-hour trip for next year. Now, next question is, well, what's open? What can we catch? Gag grouper season, my guesstimate, is going to be around most of the month of September. This year we had 15 days in September. We had a payback from an overage last year, a small overage, but the quota is supposed to be increasing. So without the payback, with the increase, I'm guessing gag grouper is going to be the month of September next year. That's my guess, my educated guess. We know it's going to open up September 1st. Question is, how long will it be open for? I'm guessing a month. So gags, month of September. Red grouper. We talked about this a couple shows ago. They claim we overfished red grouper this year. They closed red grouper at the end of June, and they claim we overfished it a little bit. So they're going to close it earlier this year to prevent that overage. So my guess is red grouper will open January 1st, and I'm guessing it's going to close mid-June, maybe even the end of May. So we know we'll have gags the month of September. We know we'll have the first 5 months of the year for red grouper, maybe 6 months, and maybe into middle June. Who knows? But we know it'll open January 1st for red grouper, and it'll go to the end of May, sometime mid-June. Triggerfish are closed in January and February, and June and July. So 4 months of the year, triggerfish are closed. The other 8 months, they should be open. Amberjack should be open September and October. So September and October for amberjack. So red snapper will definitely open June 1st. I'm guessing all the way through the end of August, maybe even into early September. But we know for a fact it'll open June 1st and go through probably at least the end of August. This year it opened June 1st and closed like August 24th, and we had 30% of our quota left on the table. So I know it's going to be a little longer, maybe a lot longer next year. So we know it's going to open June 1st. Who knows when it will close, but I know it'll be at least the end of August. So red snapper June 1st to the end of August, gags the month of September, amberjack September and October, red grouper first 5 months, maybe into mid-June. Triggerfish, not January, February, June, or July. All the other months, triggerfish will be open. Those are the 5 fish that have closures, fishing seasons that we can kind of count for. Everything else open all year. So those are the fishing seasons, according to my best guess, my best educated guess for next year. Last thing is there is a party this week. There's a big party this week, a fundraiser party, if you will. And Josh is going to pull that up for us. And I guess we can just show that, right? You're going to, yeah. Josh is also going to put the link in the chat for you guys as well. But Delosis is having a fundraiser event this Thursday. So many of you guys know Delosis. Can we zoom in at all? Maybe make that a little bigger. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nope. A little bigger at least. So this is the information here. This Thursday, November 21st, from 4:30 to 7 p.m., there's going to be a benefit for the employees at Delosis. They're going to be selling these cool Delosis t-shirts, Pizza Hurricane with Helene and Milton on the back, and the proceeds will go to the staff of Delosis who haven't been able to work. There's going to be gift cards for purchase. There's going to be refreshments and light appetizers provided, and it's going to be a good time. So come out 4:30 p.m. this Thursday if you want to support Delosis. That's the pizza place in Johns Pass on the corner. If you know Smokey, that's pretty much his second home. A lot of our crew hang out there or have hung out there quite a bit. And they should be fully back open. They're hoping for like January time frame. So we're looking forward to them fully reopening, but right now they're doing construction and trying to rebuild Delos's Pizza. So in the meantime, they're doing this fundraiser event 4:30 p.m. this Thursday to 7 p.m. It'll be a good time. Pretty much all our crew will be there. So if you want to come hang out with the crew, come out and join us. 4:30 p.m. this Thursday. All right. That's all the announcements I have. Let's get into some of your questions. Remember, if you have a question, text us at the phone number on the screen. First question. Can we go in person to book 2025 December 1st? Yes, you can go in person, but the schedule will not open until December 1st at 11 a.m. It doesn't matter if you call, if you go on the website, or you show up in person, December 1st at 11 a.m. Like literally, I'm sitting there with the clock and I wait until the time strikes 11 a.m. specifically. So don't show up at 9 asking to book trips, because we'll tell you to come back at 11. Same thing if you call. Like literally, we've had people call at 10:55 and we tell them to hang up and call back. We try to keep it as fair as possible. So again, online is the best, because you can have the cart, you can be ready, and you can, as soon as it pops up, you can click it and book it. But you can show up in person or call us, whatever you want. All right, next question. Does your old ticket still get you a discount on the next trip? Now we've just added today, we sent an email out to our company, we've added another benefit. So the little green ticket you get that gets you on the boat, the day of the trip, it gives you 10% off in our souvenir and tackle shop. And now it also gives you 10% off at our seafood market. So if you want to get some stone crab or some lobster or some fresh snapper, grouper, lionfish, triggerfish after your dolphin trip, or maybe you went out fishing and you want to get some stone crab with it, or some fish spread, or maybe just some of the crazy sauces we have down there, you get 10% off at Don's Dock with your green ticket stub. But you have to ask. So go on down and check out the seafood market at Don's Dock. That's the east end of the boardwalk. So Hubbard's Marina is on the west end of the boardwalk. Don's Dock is on the east end of the boardwalk. So the green ticket, the day of your trip, gets you 10% off in our souvenir and tackle shop at Hubbard's, and also 10% off at the seafood market. So if you come down, I mean, literally, if you were buying a couple pounds of stone crab and a big grouper, that could save you $20, $30. So it's worth it. You could literally pay for a free dolphin trip. Pretty sweet gig. So worth coming down there and checking out. It happens to me a lot, Josh. I don't know what that is. It's weird.
It only happens to me on this computer.
It happens to me a lot at work too. I don't get it. All right, next question. Oh, what? There was actually another part of that. Oh, it asked, do you get discounts on the trip? So the green ticket gives you the day of the trip, 10% off at Hubbard's, 10% off at the Don's Dock Seafood Market, and $5 off a future trip. So if you come out and do a dolphin tour, sunset cruise, an island trip, another 5 or 10 hour fishing trip, it's $5 off per adult per ticket on your next visit. And I don't know if you know this, Kilwin's upstairs, the ice cream shop, they give you 10% off the day of your trip as well with that ticket. So lots of discounts with the Hubbard's tickets. Is there an alternative bait to bring offshore for the 39-hour trip? Like pigfish, mud minnows, or croakers? Or do they mainly just bite on pinfish? It depends on what you're targeting, right? So we're talking about snapper, are we talking about grouper? What snapper or grouper? Red snapper season is reopening. I like bonita. Cut bonita works really well. But literally red snapper will bite just about anything, right? They're kind of dumb and they're super aggressive. So doesn't really matter what bait you use, but if you want to catch a big red snapper, you want to use a big bait. Just like those guys fishing King of the Beach. I was talking to Captain Steve Papin today on the phone, and he was making a really good point, is he doesn't want a 30-pound kingfish to bite his line. So he trolls a bait that a 30-pound kingfish couldn't even swallow. He trolls a really big bait because he wants to get that really big 40, 50-pound kingfish. So definitely want to make sure you're using a bigger bait that bigger red snapper is going to bite, right? You don't want to catch a 13-inch red snapper or a 16-inch red snapper or even an 18-inch red snapper. You want to see a 12, 14, 15, 16, 20-pound red snapper, right? So in order to get that bigger fish, a bigger bait helps. So either a bigger live bait, like a huge pinfish, a huge sand perch, or go out on a 5-hour half day before your 39-hour trip and get some really big blue runners, sand perch or squirrelfish, or really big, nice select baits like porgies or gray snap or white grunts. Or get a frozen bonita. Frozen bonita works really well. You can cut that fillet off and use the fillet. We have these perfect sized bonitas, and if you fillet one of those bonita out, one of those fillets work real nice. Drop it down real slow until you can't see it anymore and stop, and then drop it down real slow. You could also use a big jig, but you want to think about selectivity, right? You can use a small piece of bait. Like if you drop down a cut threadfin, you're going to catch a red snapper too. But you also have a chance at catching smaller red snapper. You want to use a bigger bait for a bigger fish. And if you have a bigger bait, you got to use a bigger hook. So if you're using a whole fillet of bonita, you want like a 10-aught hook. If you're using a cut threadfin, you want like a 6-aught hook. The hook size is depending on your bait size. Big bait, big hook, big fish. Big bait, big hook, big fish. I feel like we should make a t-shirt that says that. That's another t-shirt idea. I'm full of them.
I got a big guy T-shirt that I've been thinking of.
Oh yeah?
So that kind of plays in with it.
Nice. I don't think your mic's on though.
No, my microphone's usually not on for the live.
It's only the after show you get the sultry voice of Josh Maloney.
One of them.
All right, so next question. We are new to Florida, and what? What?
Living in an apartment complex.
That sits on a canal. One side of the canal is freshwater, and the other is saltwater. That sounds cool. Can I come over? Catch bass on one side and catch snook on the other? Seems awesome. Seriously though, since you're texting me privately, shoot me your address. I'll pull it up on Google Maps and give you some better tips. But I would say if you have fresh water on one side and salt water on the other, that means you're probably pretty far back in the bay because you're sitting near a river mouth or a creek mouth or a bayou. So if that's the case, this time of year is actually a pretty good time of year for you because the snook retreat back into the upper bay and back bay areas when water temperatures get really cold because they want to stay warmer. And that dark bay mud radiates heat. So I would say probably a good time to work a really slow moving soft plastic in the saltwater side, town and country. Yeah, so upper Tampa Bay. So I would say, yeah, definitely a good time for slow-moving soft plastics or even cut deadbait. Or you could also go on the freshwater side of things. Another month we'll be seeing the bass bedding down. That's my favorite time of year to go bass fishing. I'm not a huge freshwater guy, but when the bass bed down and get up on the bank and you can see those little white beds, and literally anything you throw at them they're going to eat because they're so reactive to things being in their bed. It's a ton of fun. So I would say this time of year in your area I'd be targeting sheepshead around the oyster beds or bridges, snook with cut dead bait or really slow moving lures, or bass in the beds. But if you send me some more information on exactly where you live, I can help give you some more detailed views. Also, the Salt Strong Smart Fishing Spots app, super dope. And if you go to saltstrong.com/Hubbard, they give you special deals. And if you're a member of Salt Strong, you get to download that app free. But it's the Smart Fishing Spots app, and it pulls up your GPS, and you can actually overlay like what you're looking for. It'll tell you where to fish based on the tide, the weather, what's biting. It's really wild technology. So the Smart Fishing Tides app is a pretty Smart Fishing Spots app, from Salt Strong. But if you're a member, you get it free. So go to saltstrong.com/Hubbard. You can become a member there, and then you can download the app and sign in. And it's cheating. really is. It's wild. All right, next question. I love fishing by myself. How long should a shock leader be to handle a shark safely? So many questions I have for you. If you're handling a big shark, it's never smart to do it by yourself, generally. Just going to throw that out there. But I like your style. I've done it before. It's fun. If you fishing shark from a shoreline is what I assume you're doing. So you're going to have braided line in your reel because you need line capacity. Your leader length should always be the size of the shark you're targeting. When I got my captain's license at a young age, Captain Chris, our fleet supervisor, is a real piece of work. Love the guy, but he sure does not hold any qualms about torturing me. And when I got my license for like a year and a half, almost 2 years, I had to work every Friday night from 7 to midnight on our shark trips. So it was quite the crucible of captain license and operating vessels. But also, I got real into shark fishing, more into shark fishing. I always have liked shark fishing. It's a lot of fun. But your leader length should always be the length of the shark you want to catch, because what happens when you catch a shark? It comes up and it eats the bait, and then it starts to run. And as that shark is running away from you, the line is going from the mouth of the shark down the back of the shark. And what does a shark do to swim? He's flapping his tail. And the skin of a shark is sandpaper. So every time that tail swipes, it's swiping your line. So if you have braided line and you have a leader that's only 8 foot and you hook a 9-foot shark, the tail of that shark is going to be hitting your braid and not your leader. And after a 20-minute fight, your braid's going to break. So it's going to be super abrasive because the skin of the shark is super abrasive. So you want a leader length that's going to be the length of your shark. So if you want to catch a 10-foot shark, you need a 12-foot leader. So that's kind of your general rule of thumb there. All right. We don't have to pull up that.
No, but that's the fresh water there and then the salt water over there.
Yeah. Let's not pull up our address live. But after the show, we're going to help you. I do like the way your house is laid out, though. It's pretty legit. You've got the best of both worlds. She's got a saltwater canal and then a freshwater pond behind her. So she lives encased in water. Pretty cool. Let's see. Next question. What stops the little fish or crabs from tearing my large bait apart before a fish comes? Nothing. If you're shark fishing with a big old piece of dead stinky bait on the bottom, little fish and crabs are gonna tear it apart. You just got to reel it in every now and again and check it. That's part of shark fishing, unfortunately. Some people will try to put it on a bobber to keep it away from the crabs. So like they'll have a really big breakaway weight and then they'll have a breakaway bobber too. So it kind of keeps the weight like a foot off the bottom. But it's a lot of work to set up, especially if you're fishing by yourself. Don't recommend. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. Just go put the bait out there, come back, and then reel it in every 2 hours and check it kind of thing. What is the limit on red snapper? 2 per person per day. So on a 39 or 44 hour, you're allowed 4. 12-hour extreme, you're allowed 2. What are the accommodations on a 39-hour trip? We've got bunks. They're Navy-style bunks. It's not our fishing vessel. Our 39-hour trip is cheaper than 2 nights in a hotel, and our hotel will take you 100 miles into the Gulf and get you a 2-day limit of awesome fish. But it is not quite hotel accommodations, right? So you got bunks. It's a bunk room. We got 25 bunks downstairs, and we've got 24 bunks upstairs, 25 bunks upstairs. So basically, you are in a bunk, either a top or bottom bunk. It's about 7 foot long, about 3 foot wide. I'm 6'7", almost 300 pounds. I fit in them nicely. Sleep comfortably in them. So they are doable. And we also have a bathroom with a shower. We have a galley, hot food, cold drinks, that kind of thing. It's not it's a fishing boat. It's not the Taj Mahal. It's not a 5-star hotel, but it is a good time, and it's super affordable and a great experience. So definitely worth checking out. How do you think the lower water temperatures will affect red snapper? We're getting ready to start and see come up. Red snapper, again, most aggressive, super dumb. Water temperatures seemingly do not affect them. Generally, this time of year, we see bigger snapper. We're seeing a bigger average size of the mangrove snapper. We had a really rough 39-hour trip this past Tuesday. They got some really rough 20, 30-mile-an-hour winds. They were in 6-foot seas most of the trip. It got to be 8-foot seas on the way home. Super rough trip, but they crushed the fish. And our buddy Bill Stringer was on the boat. I was talking to him today in the office. He's an older gentleman. He's fished with us for a long time. Well before I took over, he's fished with us, and he was telling me that this last 39-hour trip was some of the worst weather he's ever seen, but also the best fishing. He limited out on mangrove snapper, and his smallest mangrove snapper was 3.2 pounds. His smallest mangrove snapper was over 3 pounds. So he had a lot of mangroves in the 4 and 5 pound range. So we see a bigger average size of those snappers. So I would imagine we're probably going to see some really big red snapper. And our red snapper spots have been on break. We haven't really been hitting those red snapper spots since August. So they've had a long time to relax and rest. So I'm betting it's going to be pretty darn good. Regulars Club, the Regulars Club renewals are starting soon. Our Regulars Club signups for new Regulars Club members will start December 1st at 11 a.m. Same time the schedule opens, new Regulars Club member signups begin. So keep that in mind. All right, let's do our second giveaway of the night. 10-hour all day for 2 guests. One lucky winner, 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Lucky winner is Jim Demmel from Claysville, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Jim. You got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address at the phone number on the screen. Wondering if you will be offering any boat trips during any of the boat parades, and if so, which one? No. Boat parades are pretty much all canceled this year. Madeira Beach is doing their boat parade, but we are not offering boat rides for the boat parade. Unfortunately, we got out of that. It is a little bit of a heartache because it's at a weird time and it causes a lot of angst and morale decreases among the staff. Plus, we get a lot of complaints from the community about our boat rolling around, and I don't know what it is, but people get really angry that our boat is out there during these holiday parades. So between making staff upset and adding extra work to staff and having them stay late, and it makes it a little bit harder on the office, and it's not a huge win for the company. And then with the complaints from the community that we get, it's easier to just, no, we're not doing the boat parades. Plus, like I said, a lot of them got canceled, except for Madeira Beach. They're doing theirs, so that's pretty cool. All right, next question. What's the limit on red snapper during this reopening? Oh, we talked about that already. Hurricane season is going to, don't understand that one, but yes, hurricane season is almost over, 13 days. It officially ends end of November. We do get tropical systems in December sometimes, though, so just because it officially ends doesn't mean it can't happen, but it officially ends November 30th, so super pumped for this hurricane season to be over. 2 questions. Do you provide several different rods and tackle on a 10-hour trip, or is it just a specific rod? Yes. So if you rent a rod and reel from us, we give you one rod and reel, and then we have different size leaders, different size hooks, so we can kind of customize it a little bit based on what you're targeting, but generally rental rod and reel does a little bit of everything well. As a more experienced angler, you go out fishing more, then that's when you want to invest in your own tackle, and that gets a little bit more specialized. Like on a 10-hour, I might bring a small conventional and then like a 4000 series spinning reel. I'm going to be using the spinning reel like something I'd use for snook. I'd be using that for hogfish with a 30-pound leader, 3 or 4 aught hook, a 1 to 2 ounce egg sinker, and I'd be fishing for hogfish with live shrimp with that. Smaller conventional, might be dropping down cut threadfin or maybe a small pinfish for some big mangroves. So it depends on what you're fishing for. As you get more advanced and you invest in more tackle, then you're going to have a different rod and reel depending on what fish you're targeting. But as far as a rental rod and reel, we just give you one rod that kind of does a little bit of everything well. Free birthday trip. Free birthday trip is right on our website, is all the information. So if you go to hubbardsmarina.com, we do have the Regulars Club information. If you go to fishing trips, click fishing trip information. The Regulars Club info is here. The Regulars Club the prices are here. The discounts that you get in the top level club, you get half price 5 and 10 hour trips all year long. That's right, 50% off 5 and 10 hour trips all year, 30% off 12 and 39 hour trips all year long. But there is a minimum number of trips that you want to shoot for. So if you're fishing 10, 15 times a year, it makes it more affordable for you to fish more often. But it's a loyalty program, not a discount program. So you got to go fishing quite a bit for it really to take effect and really be a benefit. So go to hubbardsmarina.com, click fishing trips, click more info, and then fishing trip information, and then click Regulars Club info. The question was, though, about birthday trip. So go to info, go to Marina info, and scroll down to free birthday trip. All the information is here. It's how you book it. So you don't book it online. You call us to book your birthday trip. And all the information and how it works is all listed on this page. So check it out. We've gone over it a few times on the live show, so I don't want to bore you with information there. But that's the best way to check it out. All right. Are many lady anglers on the 39-hour trips? Yes, we have quite a few lady anglers who do the 39-hour trip. On this last one, I think there was 4 lady anglers, plus the galley cook Tammy, who's also a lady. So there's 5 ladies on this last 44-hour trip that just came in. Do you recommend pinfish for Sunday's 39-hour trip? Yes. Pinfish work really well for the red snapper, and also the biggest mangroves have been biting really well on the mangroves too. So with red snapper back open, I'd probably bring at least 2 dozen pinfish, maybe 3 dozen pinfish. Sunday's 39-hour trip, any concern with the weather? No, we just looked at it a second ago. Weather is perfect. Picture perfect Sunday, November 24th. So beautiful. Any indication about private recreational red snapper? No. I asked FWC about it at the Gulf Council meeting November 5th, and they mentioned that they were reviewing numbers, but didn't respond back to me and hasn't responded back to me yet. But I would assume they'd probably be making an announcement soon. I don't know. The 39-hour trip is the best fishing trip ever, and I'm in Destin. Wait. What? Oh, you're saying you live in Destin. Oh, you're destined to go back. Now I understand. Yeah. I thought you live in Destin and you drive all the way here for the 39-hour. Because if you did, I was going to take a picture of that and send it to Captain Jim Green and make fun of him. That's our buddy from the American Spirit deep sea fishing party boat out of Destin, Florida, who's a good friend of mine from the Gulf Council meetings, and we always joke about Destin or Madeira Beach being the best place to fish. So that would have been pretty funny if you lived in Destin and drove all the way here to fish with us. Joke ruined. But we still look forward to fishing with you. Bringing my 9-year-old daughter on her first 5-hour in a couple weeks. She is petite but generally comfortable with a spinning reel, but I don't think she could handle a conventional. I have gear to bring, but any tips on what to bring specifically for her and how to rig and run it? Bring a spinning rod. Bring a spinning rod and reel. Rig it up with like a 2-ounce egg sinker, a 3-aught circle hook, and 30-pound fluorocarbon, and piece of squid. And if she's not quite tall enough to go all the way over the rail, you can fit the rod between the rail, and it's great. It's a ton of fun. I would plan on not fishing yourself. I would plan on just fishing with her. getting her dialed in. And at 9 years old, after a little while, she'll probably kick you off it, and then you can go to fishing yourself. But yeah, definitely a good time. Seabass, his older daughter, Captain Seabass, his older daughter, I think is like, I want to say maybe 5 or 6, and she crushes it, man. She's just tall enough to see over the rail, but she grew up fishing with the rod in between the rail, and she does really well by herself. So they'll get the hang of it fast, and we'll be there to help too. What other questions do we have? I think we got time for maybe one more good one. No, this is a long answer. How does NOAA or the Golf Council accurately assess harvest numbers or the quotas based specifically on commercial fishermen? That would be illegal. They do estimate harvest numbers for recreational fishermen, but accurately estimate is a whole different thing from just estimating. The best resource, hands down, that is an hour-long answer, really, to that question, but I'm going to take the mouse real quick, Josh. The best resource is going to be going to the Hubbard's Marina website. Josh has built out this awesome page because we actually have done a lot of live shows specifically around that specific question. So if you go to hubbardsmarina.com, click fishing trips, scroll down to, I believe, more info, then hit fisheries and science management. So under fishing trips, more info, hit fisheries and science management. And there's one of these specifically, this one? Oh.
Stock assessment?
No, the stock assessment's not it. This one is probably the best one, the Marine Recreational Information Program, MREP. So MREP, the Marine Recreational Information Program, and APIS, the Angler Point Intercept Survey, are the two surveys that get federal recreational data. But essentially, these are all videos you can watch.
There's also PDFs.
There's also PDFs. So there's a lot of info here. We also have talked about it a bunch of other times too. So I strongly recommend checking out this page. But long, very, very boiled down quick answer is you need 5 things. There's 2 types of science: fisheries independent science and fisheries dependent science. Fisheries independent science is camera studies, the bottom long line index, CMAP surveys, trawl surveys. These are all scientists going out there and fishing in a specific way and getting data that is not dependent on fishermen. That's fisheries independent data. That's the gold standard. That's the best science. That's scientific methodology at work, and that is a great baseline. But it only tells you half the story because fishermen are smart. What do? We go out there and we fish differently, and we change our lures, we change our hooks, we change our baits, we change areas. We have all this technology, so fishermen are effective at killing things, and we're good at it. And if we aren't killing things, we'll learn a different way to do it better. So fisheries dependent science is the other half of the question, and it's a big part of the question. And fisheries dependent science is easy to get because we're already out there fishing. All they have to do is interview us, ask us, and they get the fisheries dependent science. There's 5 things to fisheries dependent science. How many people are fishing? It's also known as the universe of anglers. How many trips do those people take? So if there's 100 people fishing, do they do 100 trips a year? Do they do 50 trips a year? Do they do 250 trips a year? How many are fishing? How many trips do they take? How many people are they bringing on those trips? What are they catching? What are they catching and keeping, and what are they catching and releasing? So catch and discards. The last is catch per unit of effort. Really important piece of the puzzle. Catch per unit of effort is if I'm fishing and Josh is fishing next to me, if both of us are fishing together at the rail and we fish for 1 hour, that's 1 unit of effort, are we going to catch the same amount of fish? Is Josh going to catch more than me? Am I going to catch more than Josh? We don't know, but we find out. Hopefully I catch more than Josh, but we find out, and then that's our that's our catch per unit of effort. So those are all important informations, those 5 things. For commercial fisheries, they have vessel monitoring systems, they have catch reports, they have electronic monitoring, they have observers. They know all of those things. There's no guessing. There's no estimating. The commercial fishery is 100% regulated really crazily, so they know all of those things. For our federal for-hire fleet, we know how many people are fishing because our permits are under a moratorium. It costs $40,000 to get a permit to run a charter boat. That's a cheap one. Our party boats have $100,000 permits on them, so they know how many people are fishing. They know how many trips we're taking because we have to report that. Then they know how many people are on our boats because we have to report that too on our party boat fleet. They also know what we're catching because we have to report that too in our party boat fleet. So they can assess our catch per unit of effort. So on our party boats, they know all 5 of those things. For our charter boats, they know how many people are fishing. They have an estimate of how many trips we're taking. They come by our dock and ask us, so they can estimate the final 3 pretty good. For the private recreational thing, they don't know any of that shit. They literally guess at all of it. They don't know how many people are fishing. They don't know how many trips they're taking. They don't know how many people are on the boat. They don't know what they're catching and keeping or what they're catching and discarding. They definitely don't know their CPUE or catch per unit of effort. Literally all 5 of those things are guessed at. Educated guesses, complicated educated guesses. They do a really good job, you could say, at trying to get that information, but it's not easy to count the trees in the forest, right? How many trees are in your local forest? It's really hard to count the trees in the forest. Now, let's take that forest, give the tree tails, let the trees move around the forest, and then let's put 200 foot of water on top of them too. Now go count those trees. Makes it a little bit more difficult, right? So there's a big problem, and we got to get to that root of the problem, and that is the short answer. So no, they don't have an accurate estimate. They do have an estimate, but it's not an accurate estimate. That is a big problem. Fisheries, private recreational fisheries data, and that's being grappled with, but it's definitely a lot harder. All right, that's all the time we have. We have some other questions. I'll try to get to them tomorrow or something like that, but we talked about everything we wanted to talk about. Reminder again, December 1st, 11 a.m. Make sure you are definitely paying attention and booking your 2025 trips. Pay for them ahead of time if you can. That would help us out as a company. We could use it. Then finally, let's find out who won our 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. Don't forget to tune in next week every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. We have our live stream show, so we hope to see you at Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. every Sunday. Tell your friends, and hopefully we'll see you next week for another episode. Our 39-hour giveaway is brought to you by our friends at Innovative Pools and Spas. Innovative Pools and Spa brings you over 35 years of experience building pools in the Tampa Bay area. They are continuing the legacy of their father's company, which is recognized as a top pool builder in the Tampa Bay area for 35 years. Plus, they continue to raise the bar in pool design, features, and more. They have a fall special running right now. You can get a pool for less than $50K, 72-foot perimeter, up to 5 foot of depth, 5 different options to choose from, 350 square foot of decking, and LEDs and fully automated equipment. Less than $50K, you can get a special pool fall special right now. Innovative Pools and Spa. Call them at 727-788-1650. or innovativepoolsandspa.net. Tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you, and tell them thanks for being our 39-hour giveaway sponsor. Also, want to give another shout-out to our friends at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. Killer deals, like I mentioned earlier. They're doing a bunch of buy one, get ones on crazy tackle. Stop by and see them. Gator Jim's, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive in South St. Pete. Stars. We had a lot of stars senders before we wrap up as well. Want to shout out Jeff Reedy with a big 530 Chinese water dragon. Nick Nieves with 1200. Gary Pennington. Tammy Morris. Don Schuett. Jason Colleen. Bobby Winter. Corey McCluskey. Richard Harcourt with 310, Don Schuett with 450, Tammy Morris, Jason Colleen, Mike Higgins, Spud, what's up, buddy? Robert with 1200, Robert Holzhauser, appreciate you, buddy. Laura Cambron, LaShonda Brown, John Bull, Appreciate you guys. Rich and Dana Fletcher, thank you all. All the star senders tonight, all the supporters. Our supporters after show is going to be, what do you think, Josh? What time? 8:55. Supporters after show, 8:55. Let's find out who won our 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. Hopefully you'll join us for the supporters after show. It's only $4.99 a month to join. It's a good time and a great group of people. So join us, supporters club, $4.99 a month. You can't beat it. All right, 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. Winner of the 39-hour trip for one is Ricky Littler. Congratulations, my friend. You are the lucky winner of the 39-hour trip for one lucky winner, brought to you by Innovative Pools and Spa. The swag pack, I saw someone ask about it. We were told no more swag pack. Our inventory got destroyed in Hurricane Helene, remember? So we don't have any t-shirts really, except for what's on the shelf. We don't really have a lot of extra t-shirts, so no swag pack, unfortunately, until we get some more inventory back. So give us a few weeks. Hopefully we'll have a good push for Christmas, and hopefully our Red Snapper little season extension will help us get some more clothing back in the shop, and then we'll resume our swag pack giveaways. Also, Tony Barnes says, you're lying, Josh. There's no way you could start the supporters after show at 8:55.
You saw what he wrote, right?
Yes, so
I'm turning on the microphone for this.
I better stop talking so Josh can beat Tony Barnes to 8:55 for the supporters after show. Y'all have a good night. Tight lines. Thanks for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family.